All right, everybody, Michael Cohen here with you on the Sports Talk Nation. Before we get into this podcast, let's quickly go over a couple of things, pay some bills. Remember, you can follow us online at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram, as well as liking and subscribing right here to the Sports Talk Nation here on YouTube. Now, let's get right into this. The big news of the day, Khalil Mack is on the move. He has been traded from the Oakland Raiders to the Chicago Bears for 2 first-round picks. The Bears really mortgage their future in a lot of ways in order to go for the brass ring now. Now, are they ready to win right now? I don't think they are. I'll get more into that. But Khalil Mack on his way to the Chicago Bears, and he's going to fit very nicely into that defense. You talk about a team that has Roquan Smith, who was number 8 overall pick this year, Leonard Floyd, who was a number 9 overall pick a couple of years ago. They got some pieces there defensively. They're building a good group defensively, and he just feels like a guy that belongs in the Bears. I mean, you think about the Chicago Bears with all the great players they've had defensively over the years, like the Fridge and Mike Singletary, and you go into Brian Urlacher, Dick Butkus, so many great players over the years for the Chicago Bears on the defensive side, and Khalil Mack is going to fit very nicely into the history of the Chicago Bears. Is going to fit very nicely into the 2018 Chicago Bears on the field. Now, the big issue here, of course, is what the Bears gave up. 2 first-round picks. That's a lot to give up. And the Bears were not the only team that was involved in this potential deal for Mack with the Raiders. There are a couple other teams that are rumored. Early on, the Packers were a team that was rumored, but that rumor kind of cooled down a little bit over the last couple of weeks. I thought he would have been a nice fit in Green Bay. You talk about a team that's trying to win right now. You got a potential future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. I thought Khalil Mack would have been a nice addition for them, but it doesn't sound like, unless they do mention other teams were involved, doesn't sound like they were directly involved at the 11th hour here. It seems like it was really between the Bears and the Jets. The Jets were also involved in this, but the Raiders, again, were asking the Jets for 2 first-round picks, and the Jets decide not to make a move. Now, I know a lot of Jet fans are upset because, oh my God, we needed to have Khalil Mack. Our defense needs that. And look, the Jets needed a pass rusher desperately. I get that. But you know what? I think the Jets did the right thing not giving up the draft picks to get a Khalil Mack. Think about the situation the Jets are in right now. They're not a win-now team right now. They just drafted a young quarterback in Sam Darnold. We really don't know what he is going to be until we start to see games in the regular season. We're just basing it off of what we saw in preseason against vanilla defenses. They still have a couple of young safeties in Jamal Adams and Marcus May that are still developing into their second year. They are still shuffling with a bunch of unknowns at running back. They have an offensive line that has problems. They got problems all over their 53-man roster going into this year. What would the Jets have won had they brought in Khalil Mack? Other than jersey sales and other than attention, what exactly does that do for them, bringing in Khalil Mack? Not much. Because you're thinking about mortgaging 2 first-round picks next year in 2019 and in 2020, maybe another pick as well, maybe that 3rd-round pick they got from the Saints for Teddy Bridgewater. That's a lot to give up for a team that has so many holes they have to fill over the next couple of years. And I look at the Jets' salary cap situation, and man, boy, you talk about a team that has a great salary cap situation. I'm going to pull up the graphic here. The Jets have $9.7 million in cap room this year, $85.7 million in cap room next year, and then by 2020, $123 million, and by 2021, $161 million. Now, of course, that's going to change over the next couple of years as you add guys, but the fact is, the Jets go into this thing knowing that, one, they want to get better this year. They would love to get to 500 this year. Heck, they would love to get to a playoff spot this year, but the expectation is they're not going to be a playoff team this year in all likelihood. It's about building for 2019, 2020, 2021, and the free agents that are going to be available. There are going to be a lot of good players available to them next year. A couple guys that are standout names. Le'Veon Bell, the running back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's going to be a free agent next year. You take a look at defensive ends, and I know that's a big thing right now for a lot of the Jet fans. They want to go out there and get that top pass rusher. Ziggy Ansah is from the Detroit Lions, is a unrestricted free agent next year. DeMarcus Lawrence is an unrestricted free agent next year. Cameron Wake, unless he signs a contract, and he's getting up there in age now, he's an unrestricted free agent next year. Dante Fowler, who is perfect age right now, 25 years old, he's an unrestricted free agent next year. So all these guys are going to be available in 6 to 7 months, in March. So why go out there, trade 2 draft picks that you can go out there and use on, let's say, another pass rusher, and the everyone out there is saying that this year's college draft 2019 is going to be chock full of pass rushers next year, or this next season. So why waste those 2 picks when you can maybe add a pass rusher through the draft, or add a running back or an offensive lineman through the draft, and go right ahead and sign some of these other guys that are going to be available in free agency? There's a lot of good players out there going into next year. So to me, the Jets did the right thing, not going out there and getting Khalil Mack. I know, yes, it would have been nice to see Khalil Mack from the Jet perspective in a green and white number 52 jersey, chasing Tom Brady around the field and whatever the Bills and the Dolphins are going to throw out there on a regular basis. But in all honesty, the Jets didn't need to make this move right now. They hold their picks, they have the cap room, they have money to spend, and they're going to spend it. Maybe they'll make a deal here for somebody in the next couple of weeks. You know, the trade deadline does not end until middle of October anyway. You never know. If they play themselves into contention by October, maybe they make a move for somebody. But the fact is, they are looking forward to 2019 into 2020. Now, as far as the Bears are concerned, I'm kind of surprised they did this move. But when you really think about the situation they find themselves in, especially their general manager, Ryan Pace, who finds himself in a big spot right now. He has gone 15-34 in the last, 3 years now, right? And the Bears just fired their head coach, John Fox, who was brought in a couple years ago. They brought in a new coach now, Matt Nagy. Nagy's not going anywhere no matter what happens this year. They have a virtually rookie quarterback this year in his second year in Mitchell Trubisky. The Bears are building something. They are a team that I think down the road are going to be pretty good. I don't know if making this move now makes them good in the long run. Now, they're going to be better defensively. There's no doubt about it. They're going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You're going to see Khalil Mack chase around guys like Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, all over the place this year. He will fit in, as I said earlier. But, man, you know, you're trading away 2 first-round picks. That, to me, tells me that if you're a Chicago Bears general manager, Ryan Pace, you're looking at this thing saying, you know, there's no guarantee I may be here next year. This same thing goes 5-11 again or 4-12. I could be out of a job, so I'm going to give away these 2 picks. Go right ahead, bring in a Khalil Mack who could be a difference maker for me right away, and see what happens. Keep in mind, this was a division last year that was completely unpredictable. Aaron Rodgers goes down with an injury. A lot of people thought at the time that maybe the Detroit Lions would be that team that would make the next step. Didn't happen. They fell apart in the second half of the year, and the Minnesota Vikings came out of really nowhere with Casey Keenum as their quarterback and won that division. So, in a lot of ways, that division, in some respects, is wide open, but I'll be honest, I still think the Bears are the 4th best team in the NFC North, for that matter. And another reason why I sit there and I question this move from the Bears standpoint is just their salary cap standpoint. Now, they're going to work this out, but they only had $3 million in cap room to spend this year, $36 million next year, and $74 million by 2020. Now, they'll find a way to make the contract with Khalil Mack salary cap friendly over the next few years. But, man, like I said, giving up those picks, you don't have a lot of cap room to spend anyway. We'll see what happens here for the Bears in the long run. A lot of times we see these kind of moves made. I could think of a few guys like a Jay Cutler. I think was a trade like this to Chicago. That didn't work out too well. So it's always a gamble when you make this move. We'll see how it works out. The one question I have for Mack, and look, this is not a knock at him because he's a great player, but he had no training camp. He had no mini camp. He held out of workouts. He held out of training camp all year. Didn't participate in any preseason games. What football shape is this guy going to be in when he touches the field? Is he going to be ready to go in 10 days when the season kicks off, when the Bears visit the Green Bay Packers for Sunday Night Football? I have a question about that. We'll see what happens. I think that it's going to take him some time to get into some football shape. I'm going to say he may. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays, but is limited in the number of reps that he gets on the field because, again, he hasn't participated in any football-related activities in a while. Of course, he is training on the side. I get that, but that's going to be an issue for the Bears. So To me, who has won this deal? Well, one, the Raiders win this deal, so they get 2 first-round picks that they can use over the next 2 years to help fill some holes, whether that is to get another defensive end. As I said, there's going to be a lot of defensive ends out there for John Gruden to pick from, and he can go out there and get somebody on the cheap, and he can also go out there and plug some other holes. Maybe get some help for Derek Carr, maybe get another running back. There's things the Raiders could use in the next couple of years, and for whatever reason, it just was not going to work out between Mack and John Gruden at all. Yes, Mack was getting paid $13.5 million this year, but he wanted a long-term deal. The Raiders were not willing to budge on that, and they wanted to go out there and see if they could shed some payroll, get some picks, get some compensation. Yes, they're huge winners in this. I say the Jets win because, again, they didn't spend anything. They keep their picks, they keep their money, they keep the salary cap the way it is right now, and they go into moving forward beyond this year into a situation where they're going to be going bananas next season. The Bears, yeah, they win the PR battle because they get the nice player, the nice shiny toy, they get to sell all the cool jerseys. It looks great, they sell tickets, but at the end of the day, long term, do I think it's going to be beneficial to the Bears? Only if this team wins a Super Bowl, obviously, is going to be beneficial for them. I'm worried about it from the Bears' standpoint because I don't think they're ready to win a division title just yet. We'll see what happens. And I know there's going to be a lot of Bear fans going to hate me for saying that, but I don't know if they're ready to win just right now. So that is the big news coming out of the NFL right now. Again, Khalil Mack going to the Chicago Bears. 2 first-round picks go from Chicago to Oakland. As the Raiders get their picks, the Bears get their guy, and the Jets remain where they are right now with their defensive situation. So, folks, remember, like and subscribe right here on the Sports Talk Nation here on YouTube. And also, remember to follow us at OpenMicNJ on Twitter and also on Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram. Michael Cohen here with you. We'll talk to you next time.